Hey guys, it's Danny Bell. It's finally spring in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and if you're like me, you're trying to decide what to do with your island. For today's video, I wanted to share with you 12 spring ideas for your Animal Crossing New Horizons island. I'm really excited to share these ideas with you, so without further delay, let's jump in and get going. I can't wait to share these ideas with you today. First on the list today is a farmer's market. Now, one of the things I think of when spring rolls around every year is visiting my favorite fresh farmer's market in town. I really look forward to that, especially living in a cold weather climate most of the time during the year, and so why not create that space on your island? One of the things I love about this style build is you can make it as large or small as you like, depending on what sort of space you have available. Fill in the areas with all kinds of cute little stands like baked goods, fresh veggies, quilts and blankets, fresh jellies and jams. You can even do a used bookstore area, a fresh flower market, or a Western gear for a few different examples of what you can do with your farmer's market. Find any little nooks and crannies you can, or fill out your beaches with something like this. Next on the list is a secret mineshaft. Now, this is a really small type of build, so if you're looking for ideas on how to fill in those awkward blank spaces on your island, this is a build that really only takes up maybe about a 12 square area, using things like this moss-laden cave item, as well as the gold nugget cart, a map, and just little things like this old pirate barrel, I think can really make this a convincing space. It's an easy type of build that you can use to fill in those small spaces on your island. Another idea to consider is a Gyroid Garden. Since the 2.0 update, these little guys have been popping up everywhere. I love finding them on the mystery islands, as well as finding them randomly washing ashore on the beach, so why not create a little space to garden them? You can set aside or drop a couple of tools to keep readily handy like a shovel and a watering can, but using some of these fun custom designs I think really vamps up this style of build, and it's perfect for spring because we're all thinking about gardening and all of the things that go so perfectly with this season in Animal Crossing. Another fantastic transitional space is to create a spring pumpkin patch. Now, I know a lot of us, when we think about pumpkins, think about fall and spooky season, but why not take some time and create a small little garden with just the green and white pumpkins? They're so precious, and if you can create little additions to this space, like this woodshed here, as well as these adorable umbrella custom designs of the pumpkins in the crates, I think it can just be the perfect touch for something like this. Throw in a stack of Zen cushions and some boots, just to kind of create the ambiance of someone working here in this little pumpkin patch on a daily basis tending to their crops. I just really love this idea, and if you keep your custom designs in the green and cream tones, I think it really does scream spring, and it's a perfect little build to fill in those spaces. Another fun build to do on your island in the walkway areas or transitional areas is an unfinished fence. This particular build is great because it doesn't take up a lot of huge space, but it's also very creative and fun for spring. Take some of the fencing that you have in the game and customize the coloration of it to be the same for all the pieces except for the last couple, and then put down a paint can set next to it to try to give the illusion that someone has been working hard painting the fence and then kind of gave up or got interrupted partway. It's just a fun, quirky little build, and if you add in a few different shrubs and creative custom designs like this adorable rake post that I found on the portal with the placed vaulting pole, I think can really add a lot next to a pile of leaves on this build. I just really love how this build came together, and by the way, I'll be sure to link in the description of the video all of the custom design codes that you're seeing here on today's list. That way, if you wanted to create these spaces for yourself, you'll have it readily available. Next on today's list, we have a fresh pie stand. Now, this is the type of build that I think has been around for quite a while in the Animal Crossing community, but check out this variant. I love the idea of using these pro-design cutout standees for the concept of a mobile pie stand. Also using some customized awning on the stall itself, I think really adds a lot of character to a build like this. And then, of course, placing some of the items, the food items, right directly behind these little cutouts to kind of have a peekaboo effect. I love this adorable cherry pie and any of the little desserts that they have given us on the game since the 2.0 update. You can create a little bit more of an interactive style on this by placing a stove for utility purposes, or consider building this tiny little build next to an orchard. Here, for example, is Tangy's vertical orchard, and it's just nice to have this particular little space right next to her orchard, and just adds a lot of ambiance, I think, to this island. Next on the list is a vineyard or winery. Now, this has been a hugely popular trend in our community, I think for the past year or so. I love the concept of using, again, these pergolas to really resemble in the purple coloration as hanging vines and grapes. I really love this idea, using things like the custom designed vine path, some of the shrub fencing, as well as some of the grape hats and vines on the cliffs, I think can make this style build really convincing. There's so many different versions of this. I've seen different vineyards on everything from city core or French style islands to rural and farm core islands. There's just endless possibilities depending on how fancy you want to go with your vineyard on your island. But all in all, I think it's a perfect idea for spring. I love the concept of having this vineyard area be able to walk through the building all the way to the back side of the island. So one of the things I incorporated in this particular build was a tiny little wine tasting area right on the back rock behind the build itself. I love using touches like this little umbrella box crate full of wine bottles, as well as just creating a nice little seating area and a mini wine tasting bar over here with a wheel of cheese. And if you're looking for an added addition for what you can do for this style build, consider making it interactive. One of the things that I really love about this build is I reserved one of the rooms in my player house to turn it into an actual interior wine tasting build, and I love how it came together. I love the fact that you can go to the winery outside on the island, pop into the player's house, and then find this really fun build of all the different wine tasting. Again, using some of the custom designs like this really cute vineyard label on the bottles, and just kind of infusing a little bit of Tuscany in this particular room, creating a mini wine cellar on the back wall with some simple panels, and the curtain partitions I think work really nicely. If you enjoyed this type of build, please check out at the end of this video. I will leave a link to an interactive build video that I have specifically for this same style of build, so please feel free to check that out if you're looking for more ideas of this nature. Alright, next on our list is a wheat field and barn. Now, who hasn't at least once created or ran through a wheat field on Animal Crossing New Horizons? It has to be one of my favorite 2.0 items. I love the fact that you can get it in 3 different colors. In particular, for this time of year, I think the brown tone really is perfect for the harvest season, especially if you're looking to do some sort of spring, even fall type of build for your island. Consider creating something like this, using the tractor and some little skid marks, as well as creating spaces for the wheat to be processed in the back over here, can really make this build really convincingly real. I love using the storefronts over here to sandwich them together with some simple panels to create the look of a faux barn, as well as creating a little bit of a gardening space for our characters to look like they're hard at work, maybe even our villagers. All in all, I really love this type of build. You can get creative and chop down a tree, leave a chainsaw over here to create the look of a faux little wood cutting station, or create a little area in the back here where you can actually look like you're processing some of the wheat with some of the Turkey Day wheat item. And don't forget your scarecrow to keep all the pesky crows away. All in all, I really love this style build. It's really a treat to be able to watch the wheat blow in the wind, and the gentle breeze adds a really great animation to this style build that I think brings this game to life that we all love. And if you don't want to commit to an entire island that's farmcore, consider just stashing away a small corner of your island to do a build like this for your island. You won't regret it. Next, we have a Beehive Beach. Now, this was something that I came up with to try my best to decorate this vertical beach on the island. Vertical beaches are so incredibly difficult. If you're looking for more ideas on how to decorate your beaches, please check out the 15 beach ideas video that I have on the channel here. Since it is springtime, I thought it would be fun to do something with these little beehives and then create a small little honey stand on the rock on the backside of this particular beach area. I love the idea of incorporating different things on the island into the farmer's market like we saw in the beginning of the video, but you can also create a small little space on your island just for this particular area. Using things like the bee models over here, I think add a really nice idea of the bees coming and going to pollinate the flowers. And if you're looking to add a little bit of lighting, consider using a hyacinth lamp. Next on today's list is a bakery on the rocks. If you're looking for a way to creatively disguise these huge rocks that we have on our islands that really are so difficult to decorate, consider putting a bakery or pastry stand on them. Using different custom designs like this adorable vintage flower pattern or these rocks can add another dimension on your rocks, especially since we aren't able to terraform on them. I think using custom designs is really key in creating a fun, interactive space. I love using things like this pastry display case. It looks beautiful illuminated illuminated at night on your island, and if you consider using a kitchen area, it can make this space a little more interactive and useful so that if you're running around the island, you actually have an area to cook if you need to. I love using the little bread baskets and even using this vertical sign with the in-game pattern of this little bread. This little loaf of bread is so precious, it makes me want to cry. All in all, I'm so happy with how this one came together, and I think it's a really fun space that you can put and rearrange into really any area on your island, but in particular, it really worked out nicely on this rock. Next on the list today is a Seaside Diner. If you're looking for a way to create a faux building on your island to fill in a space, consider creating a little building of this nature. I love this, just using 3 of the Takanoma items as well as 2 storefronts and using a plaza game stand turned around backwards, I think makes a really convincing awning for something like this. Now, if you wanted to take it up a notch, use a couple of these Pro Design custom standees. In this case, we've chosen this really dilapidated sort of cafe door, but depending on what style island you have, if you don't want to go this rustic, consider just using a different pattern. You can really vamp up a build like this and turn it into a very fancy place to eat and hang out for your villagers if you so choose. And last but not least today on our list is the abandoned farm. I love this so much. Since I am such a huge fan of the Farmcore style, I loved doing this style build. I think it really is a fantastic opportunity, truthfully, to use every rusty item in the game. I really honestly wish that they would give us more items in this rusty tone, but using things like these old milk cans, the retro transportation stop, and even a dilapidated looking windmill I think are perfect for this style build. Really go crazy with the wheat field item in this particular build, and then using things like incorporating any of the ruined items into this style build can be perfect, especially since they're intertwined in the vines, just everything really looking super worn out and left to nature. Don't forget to add cute little garden bunnies here and there to sort of really give the idea that nature has taken over this build and create all of the fun feelings of spring on your island. Alright guys, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget you can find me on Instagram at Peppy Crossing Play. If you like this type of content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to visit any of the builds featured in today's video, please check out the dream address for my Farmcore island of Sugarbelle. It's chock full with lots of fun Farmcore and spring type of ideas, so please feel free to pop over there and check it out. Again, thank you so much for watching. Wishing you all an amazing day. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.